Welcome, in front of me is a iPhone 12 and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of the device. So starting off, packaging seems really small actually, and I think I know why, but I'm not going to say anything till I actually am certain of it. So let's pop it open. There we go. Packaging seems premium, obviously, for Apple. Open it up. Again, more premium packaging. Inside we get the product red version, so it's this reddish one, and it's a little bit lighter on the red than I expected it to be. I think I seen previously a different phone, also the red version, and it was a little bit more saturated and a deeper red color than this is. This seems a little bit more like almost like it has a hint of some pinkish to it almost. But yeah, so let's take this off as well. There we go. So let me just drop that to the side. So obviously we have a charging cable in here. Let's turn it on. And there we go. So I'm gonna set it on the stand for now. And in here we got the most minimal paperwork that I have ever seen, along with a sticker, because you can't have an Apple product without a sticker. You can stick it on your car or whatever. And the cable. So it's a Type-C to Lightning port. Now, as you also see, which that's what I expected, there is no charger. So this is one of those things that kind of bothers me. So a phone that doesn't come actually with a charger. Now, it would have been really nice if their older phones would actually come with a better charger, but most of their devices had a fairly crappy charger, honestly, and you had to pay extra to get the fast charger, and now they just completely ditched it. So yeah, now let's see if I can set it up without actually needing any kind of account. So swipe up, let's go to English, and whatever, I don't really care about the region here. Okay, let's go set up manually, continue. I guess I cannot go without actually connecting to Wi-Fi, which is kind of annoying for Apple. I'm not really sure why. If it's completely brand new device, I should be able to skip this, but why would I be able to? So I guess now we have a little bit of time. So let's progress further. Actually, I didn't want to. Set up later in settings. Passcode option. Don't use passcode. Don't use passcode. Don't transfer. I believe to skip this I can go through here, set up later and settings. Yep, don't use. There we go. Let's agree. So I'm only trying to set it up so we can see probably something that looks exactly as we expected, honestly. And yeah, so it's basically exactly what we expected. Just a typical iOS experience. It looks basically the same as almost every other iPhone that came out in the past 5 to 10 years almost. So yeah. Now going into the details of this device, it comes with a 6.1 inch display with a resolution of 1170 by 2532. So it is a little bit higher than majority of the devices that came in 2020, but not by a small margin. When it comes down to pixels per inch, it has a 460 ppi, which makes it about 60 pixels more than, or even less, about a 50 pixel more per inch, square inch, than majority flagships. So it's not doing really groundbreaking right here, but personally, resolution on the phone, especially at the 6.1 inch, is just fine at 1080p, and I don't really mind this resolution. It's basically good on every device, and it's kind of like a sweet spot in my opinion. You don't need any higher or lower, and this just seems to do the job. Now moving on to the third one, this comes with a Super Retina display, and it's also an OLED display, certified HDR with peak brightness of 1200 nits. So you will be getting a fairly decent HDR content right here. And also it has an 86% screen to body ratio. Now this ratio seems a little bit smaller than what it actually looks like. I presume it might be because of this hideous notch that is on here, that for some reason it's still retained here after several generations. Majority other devices managed to move away from it, but apparently a device that costs over $800 still retains it. Now there is a reasoning for this, and it's to accommodate the Face ID cameras, but let's be honest, they could just go for a fingerprint sensor on the display like basically every other flagship has done, and I believe this would have worked a little bit better. I personally prefer a fingerprint rather than the Face ID right here, but I will also mention I'm not really a avid user of iPhones, so just putting that out there. Now if you kind of look at this design and just imagine that it wouldn't have this hideous notch at all, this device would look stellar. It would be basically something that would make this device super compelling to a lot of people. It would look super premium and just really amazing. It does look really cool, honestly, and overall in the edges and just the build quality, it resembles a little bit of the old what was it, iPhone 5 or SE, I believe, was the newer version. It has the same kind of like boxish, well, edges right here that are really sharp in terms of like just side to side. I really like this look, honestly. Maybe a little bit less curved edges would have been a little bit better, and that hideous notch that should be gone by now, but for some reason, like I said, they keep retaining it here. Now apart from that, in that notch we have a 12 megapixel wide sensor that shoots basically as well as the front well, this is the back sensors, I guess. So it shoots at 4K 24, 30 and also 60, so that is really amazing for a selfie cam. And also if you drop it to 1080p, you can shoot again at 30, 60 and also 120. And when it comes down to the back sensors, so if I flip it over, we have two sensors, which again they're both 12 megapixel, and one is a wide and one is ultra wide, and again 4K 24, 30, 60, 1080p, 30, 60, 120 along with a 240. Now I believe the 120 and 240 are slow motions, but I will just check it out soon just to be sure. And I do have to commend Apple for doing something or not doing something that a lot of other manufacturers are doing, which is including useless garbage sensors. So if you've looked at phones in a recent time, majority of the mid-range, even some more high-range devices include like 2 or 5 megapixel depth or macro lenses. Especially the 2 megapixel macro and depth are just utter garbage, and they have no place to be on a phone. And I'm super happy to see that Apple didn't decide to go that route. I guess they don't really need to. They already have a cult following of people that will like their device anyway. But I'm happy to see that they didn't go for that idiotic basically marketing of adding more sensors and basically saying, look at us, we have four sensors on the back. It's just kind of silly. So here we have two 12 megapixel, and obviously it's Apple, so these will be taking fairly stellar photos, one of the best ones probably on the market. So as you all probably know, we have only like 3 competitors in terms of the most amazing photos. So one is a Huawei, one is Samsung, and one would be Apple. Apple apparently, from what I've heard and seen, does fairly good job at taking more natural color photos, especially for the skin, so they're really good at that. And I'm gonna capture a couple quick photos soon, but honestly I don't think in the situation that I'm right now in the box I can't really showcase this camera to the fullest potential. But if you have the phone, I'm pretty sure you're well aware that the capabilities of these cameras are really good. Now also I can see right here we have a flash next to the sensors, along with I believe this is a microphone, which I wasn't actually expecting, so I assume this will be a fairly good recording device, especially considering that it has a microphone right over here. Most other devices have a microphone somewhere at the back or at the bottom or the top that is used for like a loudspeaker when you're using it for loud calls and stuff like that. Now moving on to the internals of this device. So it comes with the Bionic A14 chip, which is, well, latest Apple chipset, and again it's basically one of the fastest ones, most certainly I believe faster than what Samsung has to offer. And yeah, now something that is a little bit of a downside in here, or in my opinion, as a purely spec sheet, is this insulting 4GB RAM for a device released in 2020. So I do understand that the devices do, at least iPhones, run super well with low RAM amounts and they don't really need more, but if you're paying an $800 for a device, for goodness sake, make it at least 6. This is almost unacceptable for a flagship device to have 4GB RAM. Budget devices have more, so that is something that I kind of look at and would like to see more, just so the device can be pushed a little bit further. Now also when it comes down to storages, again this is something that I just find completely hilarious at this age. For $800, the price that I'm saying, I believe it's $830 exactly. This is the lowest price you can get for this, and it comes with a 60GB storage. This is literally insulting in my opinion. Now I'm one of those people that still uses local storage. I prefer to have everything on my phone or computer rather than in the cloud. So 64GB to me for an $800 device is just like someone showed me a middle finger and said, haha, we gotcha here. So I just cannot stand by this personally, especially that Apple never included an SD card expansion. So this just adds salt to the wound in my opinion. The positive of the storage is it comes with an NVMe storage, so this will be just one of the most fastest storages you can have, but still at like 64GB for $800, what am I gonna do? Record a couple videos in 4K? That's basically what I can do. Now if you're willing to shelf out more money, you can go up to 120 or even 256GB, but that's about it. So like I said, there is my problem with RAM and also memory on this device. Internal storage is one of those things that I don't really like, and I don't think there is much more I can say about the device. It's just a typical iOS experience with whatever you would experience from whatever you would expect from iOS, minus the charger, which, like I said before, it just seems a little bit I don't mind it that much. I have chargers around, but if I would be buying this device and being strictly in the Apple ecosystem, I would never have had a fast charger if I only buy the phone and never decide to spend more money for a fast charger. Because as you probably are aware, previous devices from Apple had fast charging capabilities, but the chargers that they were including in the box were not. So if you wanted a fast charger for your fast charging device, you'd have to shell out more money. And again, what? So here they decided to completely ditch the charger without ever including in the box a better one. So you're in 2020, if you only never bought anything from Apple, like any accessories, additional ones, you only have a crappy charger from them, and at 2020 you're gonna be charging your phone at what, 15 watts I believe, maybe 25. I cannot fathom this. This to me is just another insult to, or salt to the wounds here. Now, at one point I was really a fan of Apple, and I really like their devices, but for some time now I just see their devices as being uninspiring. This is nothing new. It feels like a recycled device. Again, we slapped a new chipset, and here you go. Here's another 800 every year. Go buy our new product. We're probably gonna also slow down your old one, so you have more incentive to buy a new one. And personally, if you're in the ecosystem and you want to, or feel like you have to upgrade your device because, I don't know, it's running slow from all the updates that are slowing it down because your battery is running out, so either you change out the battery or upgrade it, whatever suits you, I guess. If you're in the ecosystem, then you don't really have much of a choice. You're kind of stuck in it unless you're planning to basically change everything, which for the most people this is not really the way to go and not very feasible idea. But if you're not in an ecosystem, I would really tell you to stay away from this. This is just my personal opinion. Like I said, I'm not really a fanboy of Apple, but I'm also not a fanboy of Android, so I'm not really siding here. I'm just looking at this device and seeing that it looks almost the same way as the device that came 2 years ago. It has little to offer for the price that it comes with, apart from the cameras right here that are on this device, which are fairly good. There might not be the highest count, but they capture really good photos. So I understand that this is one of the good parts of it, but the rest of this device makes me feel like I would be wasting my money basically paying for this device. I might as well just go, I don't know, 2 years back and buy the iPhone 10 and call it a day. And it will be a little bit slower. It will also capture great photos, maybe not as good as this one, but I will save a little bit of money. And appearance-wise, it will look really similar to this. Personally, I mean, really similar, but still, I do have to say I like more how this one looks because of those edges and more of a 5S look to it. So they're just putting out there in terms of appearance. But everything else, I would feel like I'm still using the same device year after year, and I like to see change and some innovation, which Apple hasn't done in a long time now. So that's just my personal opinion, and if it matters, I personally wouldn't buy this device because there is nothing inspiring in this device. I don't see any kind of groundbreaking technology here or any kind of risk being taken for this device, so that's why I wouldn't get it. But like I said, if you're in the ecosystem and you need to upgrade your device, you probably don't have much of a choice. You're kind of stuck in there, and it's just never-ending loop, I guess. But this would conclude my overview of this device, and if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.